The United Auto Workers have just gone on strike against the big three automakers. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, it is time that we talk about the ongoing strike against the big three automakers. That is right. When we talk about something that I don't usually talk about on this channel, strikes, but this one is arguably one of the most critical, especially with the upcoming election, because as many of you know, the United Auto Workers, which that's like people in Ford, General Motors, etc., they have gone on strike against the big three. Yeah, for the first time ever, the big three, which is Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis, which is just Chrysler, all three of them have a strike at once, led by the United Auto Workers. And we're going to be discussing what do they want, what are the potential impacts of this, and really, who do I support in all of this? Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you could join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, and let me be 100% clear. I'm going to actually answer firstly, who do I support in this situation? Now, some of the demands that the auto workers are demanding are, let's just be real, egregious. And we'll get to that in a second. But overall, I do support the auto workers far more than I do the big three. I mean, you look at the real wages, it has gone down for these auto workers since 2006. It's true, it's gone down like 30%. So, I can understand some of the demands, but when you look at some of the other ones, it's like, dude, what is this? Now, this isn't like the writer's strike, the actor's strike, which, if you don't know, Hollywood is currently on strike. Thank God. I mean, those people, they make $100,000 a year. It's just, that's like the bare minimum for most of those people. And they're complaining about it. It's like, really? And some of them are multi-millionaires. It just, those people I hear a rat's ass about. The people that are striking here, well, they're blue-collar people that actually have a real job. That actually contributes to the economy. And a lot of them do make good wages, but a lot of them also make garbage. When you average it out, it's like $30 an hour, which that seems good on paper, but usually when it comes to auto workers and stuff, they tend to have higher wages than other jobs. That's historical. Well, recent years, that's not so much anymore. It's just a fact. That's why real wages for these workers have gone down. They used to be like very high paying job. Now it's like, it's kind of just the norm. Which that's the biggest reason they're complaining about, but also the environmental stuff, which we'll get to. But let's get into it. Thousands of members of the United Auto Workers Union went on strike Friday at 3 plants in 3 Midwestern states in what was the first strike simultaneously affecting all 3 Detroit automakers. Like I said, this has never happened before. Like, you had strikes against Ford, against General Motors, Chrysler. You've had that, but you never had it all at once. That's what makes this kind of a big deal. This isn't just, 5 people in a factory quitting or something. No, this is thousands upon thousands of people in multiple companies. The union and the companies, General Motors, Ford Motor, and Stellantis, which is the parent of Chrysler, remain deadlocked in negotiations over a new collective bargaining agreement when the current contract expired at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday. As the deadline neared, workers started to fan out at the targeted plants in Michigan, Missouri, and Ohio to protest. And notice the states that they're protesting in. This isn't like, Tennessee. This isn't like, New York. It's not like a safe state. Outside of Missouri, the two other states, Michigan and Ohio, are absolutely critical for the next year's elections. Ohio is going to go to Trump, but for the Senate seat, that's a competitive race. In Michigan, not only is it critical for the presidency, but also the Senate race may be much closer than originally expected. Because guess what? By a miracle, there is a Republican in the Michigan Senate race talking about this and saying they support the auto workers. It's James Craig, who's going to run for that Senate seat. While Elisa Slotkin, the supposedly pro-worker Democrat, she actually wants the strike to end. She's against the strike to a lesser extent. The realignment in full display. And that could backfire against Democrats because it actually pissed off some progressives. Either way, it is odd seeing Republicans like James Craig, who is going to run for that Senate seat more than likely, support the strike and saying, get what you want. You've been screwed over for years. It's time you get the benefits you worked for. While the main Democrat, as of now, is saying, I support the workers, but we got to make sure we end the strike ASAP. Work with both sides. It's like, and really when you read the statement, it makes you wonder, do you even support the workers? Because some of those things he said was a bit off. At the outset, the strike will idle one plant owned by each automaker and could force the automakers to halt production at other locations, shaking local economies in factory towns across the Midwest. And this is why this is big. Yes, these are not as, big of factory towns like 50 years ago where Detroit made every car in the world. I'm exaggerating, but that's what it seemed like. We're not at that point anymore, but still, a lot of auto manufacturing does still occur in the United States. Yes, you got Japan. Yes, you got, all these other countries with their own companies, but America still has, relatively speaking, a solid industrial base when it comes to cars. Well, a lot of these places, they rely on those factories. There may not be as many as they were, but they still need them, as thousands of people, their jobs are just those factories. If that shuts down, the local economy probably stinks. That's why this is a big deal. This isn't just, one factory. It's 3 factories as of now, with more to come more than likely, which that could devastate many of these towns, many of these cities that for years have already been devastated by free trade policies. We are using a new strategy, the union's president, Shawn Fain, said in a video streamed via Facebook on Thursday night. We are calling on select locals to stand up and go on strike. In the 88 years since it was founded, the union has called strikes aimed at a single automaker, and a handful of halted production for several weeks. General Motor plants were idle for 40 days in 2019, before the company and the union agreed on a new contract. The plants designated for walkouts on Friday represent only a small portion of all unionized factories, General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, and of those companies, 150,000 UAW members. Guys, 150,000 of them. And outside of Trump, these voters still vote overwhelmingly Democrat. They still vote Democrat when it's Trump versus Biden, but it's not as much as compared to a generic Republican to a generic Democrat. That's true. And this is why it's huge. Republicans have an opportunity to capitalize on this politically. You don't have to say you should get a 50% raise, which that's one of the things they want, which is egregious. But you could say You guys have been screwed over for many years. It's time you get a reasonable wage increase and other benefits. That's what Trump is doing. So far, only Trump and James Craig have capitalized on this politically. It's true. Trump is saying some of these leaders are stupid for some of these demands they want, which, truthfully, if they get implemented, they would ship more jobs overseas. At the same time, he's saying, I support the workers. I want them to get good benefits. I want them to get good pay. But some of these demands are going to hurt them in the long run. Same thing for Craig, though he was more pro, get whatever you want, but still. Those are the only two Republicans saying a word about this in a positive manner, not just, Biden bad. How do you think that's going to impact next year's elections by just saying Biden bad? Just say, I support the auto workers. They get benefits they deserve. Now, here are some of these demands, which again, they are just, I don't know who made this up, but the union has demanded a 40% wage increase over the next 4 years, which, listen, 30% over 4 years, that may be a tad much, but that's reasonable because it's okay, high inflation, we lost real wages. That's one thing. But 40%? I don't think so. I support the strike, but a 40% increase over 4 years, which some people make it sound like it's over 1 year, but no, it's 10% each year for the next 4 years. And they did point out the compensation that the chief executives of the three companies have seen, which I understand it's 40%, but those bonuses, they're a little bit different. They're based on the company's, how well the company's doing financially. They're a little bit different. They're not just, purely wages. But I do agree that some of these executives, why the hell are you seeing a 40% increase in your bonus? If it was 10, 20%, I don't think anybody would care as much. But I just think a 40% wage increase, that's pushing it. I absolutely believe that this is pushing it. 30%, I think, is a good point because the auto workers are wanting 40, the manufacturing companies, they want 20. I think 30 is more reasonable and more realistic if you just meet in the middle. And of course, you have other stuff such as the hours. I mean, they want a 20% decrease over the amount of hours they work, which is I don't think so. There's just some stuff where it's what the hell are you doing? But at the same time, they are bringing up critical points hey, inflation is going up so much, we need wages to increase faster for us to even have a living. And of course, you got the electrical car stuff, which most automakers, auto workers, they don't want. The fact that the Biden administration's forcing these companies to go green, that's going to screw these workers over. And that's why they're vehemently against it. So overall, this is a strike that it's a mess. It's a big freaking mess. The auto workers, they want stuff that I think are just dumb, like a 40% increase. Just make it 30%. I understand that's a bargaining tactic, but still. The automakers have screwed over these workers for years. But either way, I don't think this strike's going to last that long. But just because, I doubt these companies can go 3 months without producing cars. But who knows? We just got to see what happens in the coming weeks. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.